All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is the last day of July. The NFL season will be here before we know it. We're here to help you sort through some of the uncertain situations in the NFL. What's going on with Jonathan Taylor? How about the Seattle running backs? We're going to rip a Best Ball Mania 4. I'm here to repeat as a champion, try to take down that $3 million first prize. Let's do it. All right. As I said, I'm Liam Murphy, going to be drafting an underdog Best Ball Mania 4 team today. Going to give people a little bit of time to stream in. I did not mean to counter program Pete PS Devil here, saying Pete, Spags, and Liam all counter program each other. Who do I choose? Good thing is on YouTube is you can watch the replay. I was sitting outside, soaking in my sun as I like to do, and jumped in a Best Ball Mania 4 in the morning, get those morning rays, and I just happened to join a Pete Overs at room. And then I figured he only did one. I didn't know he did multiple Best Ball Mania 4s back to back. So I figured it'd be safe to do one at the end, but say la vie. Thoughts on the Taylor situation? Yeah, so Taylor for me, I pretty much let's talk about that a little bit before we jump into the draft. I'll give you guys a little bit of warning if you want to try to draft against the champ. Taylor, to me, I'm concerned. I'm very concerned. I've not been drafting him really at all. I thought he was an underdog to outscore the players around him. And while I will take players who I think will be outscored due to leverage reasons for the playoffs, I don't like to do that in the first and second round. So JT, I didn't see why he wasn't more expensive Miles Sanders. You have a quarterback who we think is going to run for 600, 800 yards, something like that, in Anthony Richardson. And the offense is going to be worse. And so I was always going the elite wideouts. I liked Saquon more than him. I liked Pollard more than him. I liked Bijan more than him. So I was never a Taylor guy. I think I had one share when he fell to the 2-3 term. Now, even though he's a discount, I will take some fourth round Taylor, I think, in these like mega large field things. But in my high stakes stuff, I don't even know if I will. I don't know how this is going to play out. Yeah, it would be neat if he landed on like a team like the Vikings. That's probably like the best case for him. If he landed on the Vikings, like see Alexander Madison. You got a quarterback who doesn't run. You got a good offense. That would be maybe first round Taylor. But I don't know. There's like shenanigans where they're talking about, seems like the Colts want to put him on the NFI list, which means he doesn't get paid this year, just doesn't play this year. So I don't know. Things look like they could get ugly. The situation is not enough for me to chase the uncertainty. So take him at a discount in the mega large field things like BBM4, etc. But I'm afraid. And I don't know who is the backup there. I've drafted more Evan Hull, the rookie, than I have Zach Moss. Zach Moss is a plotter. He's not fast. Probably the lead for the goal line. So I think Zach Moss is definitely in the mix. Deion Jackson or Evan Hull, probably going to be the third down back. We saw Deion do well in pass catching duties last year. The question is, can Evan Hull pass protect? He's fast. He's an athletic guy. So that makes him intriguing. On the Seattle running back situation, Ken Walker, groin. Zach Charbonnet, shoulder, out indefinitely. Out indefinitely could mean he returns today, right? So we have no idea. How I'm going to approach that situation is I plan to buy the discount on them. Less worried about Walker than Charbonnet just because, I don't know. A groin doesn't seem like a big thing this far out. We've seen Pete Carroll do this before. So, yeah, I got 6th round Ken Walker today. I'm taking that every day. I think both of them are a buy because I'm assuming at least one will return. And if one returns and the other doesn't, the one who does return is a smash, right? So, and yeah, I think you can mix in some Kenny McIntosh in the 18th round, but I don't even know if he's in the player pool. So, we're jumping in our BBM4 here. It is officially 50% filled. I've said all year, 3 more guys. I've said all year, 2 more. Some of these contests could overlay. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Are you treating the Bengals the same after the Burrow injury? Yes. No drop on the Bengals for me. Still taking Chase 102. Still taking Higgins. Still not drafting Mixon. 16% Kenny McIntosh. Why, Cal, were you taking the maybe RB3 on the Seahawks? Yeah, he's having a great camp. But unless you've only done a couple drafts, in which case, if you've done 8 drafts and you take him in 2, it's like, okay. I just don't understand how you've been confidently clicking him every time. But it could pay off for you. Again, guys, really helps me when you hit the like, hit the subscribe, comment. If you want to join my Discord, make sure you do that. The link to do that is below in the YouTube description. A lot of great talks going on in the Discord. I let the Discords know when I'm going live on YouTube. I think I'm going to start letting them know when I jump in the drafts. Hello from the 103. Thank you, Roland, for revealing yourselves. So, yeah, was going to have Gretsch and Sean Siegel on Friday. Unfortunately, got way too drunk with Pete. It was a bad time. Unprofessional. I don't really drink a lot. But won't happen again. Also, my site, I put some work into it. Still planning to launch. Not going to launch today. This week. This week, launching the Best Ball site. I think it's going to be $99 a year. I don't know, maybe a $30 discount, $69.69 discount for the first 2 weeks, something like that. We'll see. We'll see. I need to play around with it. Young Beastie asks, since you aren't drafting mixing, is there anyone you like in that backfield? So this is an article I'm cooking up, but I'll tell you a little bit about it. But the market right now has decided the RB to draft in Cincinnati is Chase Brown. And we see this every single year where the market decides who the RB2 is. Last year, Tyrion Davis-Price at the 107 here. I think all these names are interesting. I grab a lot of Diggs, who I'm feeling more and more confident could have like a really big season, but I want to grab a share of Eckler today, see if I can build this out how I want to. Yeah, the market told us Trey Sermon is an RB. So the market's decided it's Chase Brown. I've drafted mostly Chase Brown, but that is a room where I see like so many possibilities. Possibility 1 is it's actually Travion Williams or Chris Evans is the backup running back and or third down back. Or they bring in a free agent. Like, can't you just see Fournette going there, pass protecting on third down? Zeke, someone like that. So it's a room where I'll take 2 guys late sometimes. I'll go Chase Brown and Travion. But I really these first couple weeks of training camp, first week, pads are not on. Pads are being put on now. And so now we can start to glean with running backs without pads. It's kind of useless, man. Of course, Kenny McIntosh, who's fast as hell, looks great without pads. How do you look with pads? That's a question, right? Everyone knows I like Dalton Kincaid. Practice has been great, but you got to have your welcome to the NFL, So there are many, many running back rooms. I'm going to grab Pollard, man. I was going to go Saquon, but I just really love the Cowboys playoff schedule. So, yeah, there's a lot of running back rooms like that, though, right? Like the Vikings one, the market's pretty much just given up on. I safely think Tank Bigsby is the RB2 in Jaguars land, but it should be 0% shocking if he actually ends up the RB3 and JaMychal Hasty's playing ahead of him. So a lot of the RB2 rooms we don't have clarity on. Jerome Ford could be sent to the showers, right? Zamir White could be sent to the showers. He's not even the first running back in camp. Amir Abdullah's playing ahead of him. Gus Edwards could be sent to the showers. Some of these guys could smash, but we just we don't know. So it's a position where I want to monitor it very closely in camp and see what the running back order is. Yeah, Dearness Johnson still with the Jaguars. Remember, he was drafted last year a lot by people thinking he was someone in Cleveland. Have I done the $1,000 Mastiff draft yet? No, and I don't think I will. It's $1,000. First place is $20K, 20x your money. I would rather do 4 of their big dogs, which historically has been $250, something like $100K to first. Tolan, friend of the personal friend, went to college with Tolan and grew up in the same state. I'm going to have Tolan on the channel when we draft our FFPC main event team. But he said, I find I'm not happy with any drafts where I don't get at least 2 stud running backs early. And what I would tell you there, Tolan, is I understand, but being comfortable with your team in September is not necessarily what wins the contest, right? We know chaos is going to come in the NFL. So, yeah, you might not be comfortable when your RB1 is Rashad Penny and you take 7 of them, but you don't need that many things to break your way to have a super team, right? You load up on wide receivers, you take a bunch of running back handcuffs, and you hope some injuries, chaos, whatever happens. Okay, let's go. Painful to pass on Josh Allen, but we're going to go Keenan. We have a plan here. Liam, are you entering the Pup Cup? I don't know what the Pup Cup is. Can you tell me more about that? And yeah, not drafting Mixon is for multiple reasons. One, I don't draft big market risers. So I don't draft Alexander Madison and Mixon, right? When there's teams that have these guys in the 10th and 11th, choose not to compete with them. FedEx Cup best ball tourney. Oh, are you asking about my PGA tout skills? Because yes, I did get third. Let's look at that. The Pup Cup. It's $3. Oh, no, it's $7. $20K to first. I don't know if I'll jump in. Probably not. We're pretty firmly in NFL season. I got a lot of work on my plate, but it's possible. So yeah, this is the first time ever I've let Josh Allen go by me in the third. I think Nep has a super team now, but gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Did you get a trophy or a ring for winning BBM2? Well, the people who won the playoff contest that year is when Underdog unveiled their rings. And then I sent them, go on Mike Williams, adding to the Charger stack. I sent them an email being like, hey, could you guys send me a ring? And they were like, sure, dude, go away. Here you go. No, I'm sure they just like unveiled it late in the season. The ring is nothing special, you know. It's a memory piece. Zach Moss went pick 153 in my last draft. Even if JT doesn't play, should he be that high? Well, I mean, if you're getting an RB1 on the Colts, yeah, I would say that's totally fine. Getting your RB1 in the 13th round, you know, like who are the running backs he's competing with there? Running back 2s and 3s. So yeah, he should shoot up the boards if we get clarity. I'm not going to take him there now because I don't know. JT could go back there. Is it exactly D-Cost? Is he the RB1? That's why I would not take him there. If I knew who it was, I would confidently take him above ADP. Are you going to Frankfurt for Chiefs Dolphins or London for Bills Jags? Don't know, Finn. Pretty firmly in best ball land right now, but if once the season started, I'll look more at stuff like that. I personally enjoy watching games at home too, and I've done quite a bit of traveling, so maybe it would be fun. I mean, I'm not going to go to Frankfurt for Chiefs Dolphins. Like, yeah, that is fun, but I'm not a Chiefs or Dolphins fan. London for Bills Jags, though. Cheerio. Could have some tea with the boys. Did you see DraftKings posted week 1 contest and salaries? I did. I built like 10 teams. You know, threw them in the $5 Millie Maker. Do you attend football games? Sometimes, but not often. Again, I like to watch the games at home. Or with the lads, you know. So we're seeing Joe Burrow drop to the 5th. The main thing we've seen with the Joe Burrow injury is previously more casual drafters were. So, of course, we set up the Chargers stack to get Justin Herbert. That's why we passed on Josh Allen. So we got the Chargers main offense, we assume, and Herbert, Eckler, Keenan, Mike, an offense that could explode. The main thing we've seen with the Joe Burrow injury is more casual people are not they're not just taking naked Joe Burrow. And here you see even the Chase drafter passed on him, which is wild. big moment coming up. Were you saying to see if I got Herbert? Was, you never know. That's kind of why I wasn't reading out the picks I made. Because I didn't want any, someone who wanted their name called on stream or whatnot. You never know what people are thinking. To be like, ooh, here's my chance to ruin his fun. This happened to me in a 5-5-5 draft the other day where I did the same thing. And the dude on the turn just took Herbert. All right, guys, I am drastically parched here. So I'm going to grab some water after this pick. And be back shortly. I don't know who I'm going to take, though. It's a weird range of I do like some of these running backs. Obviously, I'm strong at running back in theory with Eckler and Pollard. Can you show us the ring? It's in my car, man. I'm sorry. But I'll go out and grab it for the next one. All right. We're going to throw Gabe in the queue and auto down. All right. Electric couple moments of content, I'm sure that was. Got our water. Welcome, Tyler. So we got bets on good offenses so far. That's how I like to play. Chargers, Cowboys, Bills. Let's get some touchdowns. Let's get after it. How much would you pay to not get sniped? I don't care when I get sniped, man. Especially on expensive. If someone did grab Justin Herbert, that's fine. I can backstack. I think Quentin Johnston was a consideration at Gabe's pick just to lock up the Chargers, but decided to swing for the upside where his ADP is 79, so obviously could have made it back to me. Waller goes. Another guy I would have considered. We got the James Cook pick to go with Gabe for that little mini correlation. I think James is going to be a riser. He's a guy who I was mostly not drafting to start the year. And while I would have taken Treylon if not for him, I think there's still wide receivers I can get at pick 90, and James I maybe would not have gotten there. But yeah, Cook is a guy I wasn't taking a lot to start the season, just kind of concerned that Damian Harris gets the touchdowns in close. Didn't catch as much passes, but Camp News has been good on him. He's explosive. Maybe he doesn't get the goal line work, but he doesn't really need to. Michael saying, I think sniping happens less than people feel it does. Sometimes people just click a top Q option, not realizing it's bad. Yeah, Michael, I totally agree with you. I think people are like over paranoid / they're like overly focused on themselves, thinking other people are out to get them. Now, I will say when you have a public presence, maybe someone is trying to do something to fuck with you for fun. But most people, that's not happening. So pretty loaded running back room in theory with Eckler, Pollard, Cook. Wide receiver, we're going to need to add some volume, and tight end as well. Happy with Herbert as our RB1. Time to fill in the other spots. We're coming up at pick 90. All right, we're going to take a discounted James Conner. Now, by me taking a discount, like if you can see, I took Cook at 79, and that's Connor's ADP, and I took Connor at 90, and that's Cook's ADP. So this combo is not rare at all. Just usually people do it in reverse order. I just want to secure Cook, and Connor was a nice benefit. And with this, I'm almost certainly stopping at 4 RBs. I would have grabbed Michael Thomas. It's just a guy I like for upside, but I got a lot of Michael Thomas, so we're going R bust RB. If we know Connor plays the whole season, should get a lot of usage. Not the best fantasy playoffs for the Cardinals, where they have to play the Eagles week 17. But they get the Bears week 16. Maybe he helps me advance to the finals. Again, 49ers and Eagles, though, two of the tougher defenses you can play. Just need one touchdown, though. You know? Finn saying, I remember the hype around Mike Williams last season was crazy. Yeah, I mean, for good reason. The guy's a great half-point PPR guy. I've been a little bit unsure how to play Eckler because the theory of the new OC is that he likes to throw the ball down the field. And previously, the offense for Herbert was a lot of checkdowns. So, like, in theory, that's great for Mike Williams and, like, not great for Eckler. Where if Eckler's not getting, all those passes, how many did he get last year? Got 107 receptions. Like, if you lower that number down to, like, 65, that's really going to hurt him. At the same time, though, if the overall offense is just better, then they should score more touchdowns, which, again, I would think would be Herbert's wheelhouse. All right. Not a great start to practice for Jameson Williams. Not the best when I have 2 week 5 buys as well. Does give me some mini correlation for Pollard. I'm still betting on the talent with him. He's a lot cheaper in other sites, but we're going to try to carry a low advance rate JMO to the playoffs and be paid off for it. Again, guys, like, subscribe, helps the channel. When I end the stream, refresh it, drop a comment. The Prodigy, 1993. This is my 93rd Best Ball Mania draft. 100 coming up soon. Some people like to do a lot of people have all 150 done already. A lot of grinders thinking that they're going to be better at sussing out the risers of the market and whatnot. But I like to keep a couple in the chamber, for situations like we're seeing. Falling Saquon, falling JT. JT goes at his normal spot in this draft. Happens in a lot of drafts. Charbonnet goes at his normal spot in this draft. Walker did fall a little bit. Going to be going on a couple other people's podcasts this week as well. So excited to chop it up with them. I'll retweet that on my Twitter if you're curious. What percent of players max out the tournament? I'm not sure, Tolan. It's more of a question for Hayden, Winks, and gang. OBJ, welcome to the squad. A lot of people down on OBJ. I still think he's a favorite to play in 2 wide receiver sets. Probably OBJ and Bateman. Last time we saw him, he was good. Maybe he does fall off later in the season, and that's when JMO would return. So nice synergy there. Has a late bye week. High tempo offense. Early reports for the Ravens has been that they're playing with a lot of pace, which is good. Good for week 17 reasons as well. But they're struggling in red zone. So could be a little bit frustrating for half-point PPR, but good for PPR. David, welcome to the stream. A lot of punch in that JMO pick. You got it, man. We're punching out. Walker should be a riser. I mean, we got to get injury clarity. So, a rather balanced start for us right now where we have a 1-4-5. Going to figure out tight end. Going to get another quarterback and get a lot of other wide receivers. We're not going to talk about DFS on this stream. I'm sorry, Finn. I am ADHD, but not even I am going to get that unfocused. Yeah, I mean, on the Ken Walker versus Charbonnet, I've seen a lot of speculation into literally just like words he could have pulled out of the air. Out a while seems less severe than out indefinitely. But his name's Pete, by the way, Nate. Call him Sean Carroll. It's Pete Carroll. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea how. Like, I listen to the presser. No one has any idea. People are just making up. People are being like, "Oh, Charbonnet out indefinitely. Definitely a more severe injury." We have no fucking clue. I'm sorry. How successful have you been on Drafters? Would you recommend it? Yeah, I think Drafters is great. It overlaid. Only played my first year there last year, and I got, I don't know how I did. I think I got like a top one. My top team was maybe like 127th or something. I mean, if they're gonna make me do it, guys, we'll add a Kincaid share. He's on the thumbnail. It would be wrong for me not to get him. So we have our bet on the Bills and Kincaid, Davis, and Cook. We have our bet on the Chargers with Herbert, Eckler, Keenan, and Mike. We got the JMO, Pollard, Mini for Week 17. James Conner just vibing out there, giving us some weeks, helping us advance. OBJ against the Dolphins in the nut environment, Week 17. The team's coming together. Classic. Oh, Daniel saying some reporters go for flashy titles just for clicks, so be wary. Yeah, I would say a lot of the beat reporters, they get that social media drug, right? Fantasy players are foaming at the mouth, unlike any time before in history. Previous years, yeah, some season-long fantasy football people were interested in your takes, but now that best ball is taking off, people want to know clarity and early. And so they get just so frothy for the interaction and the retweets and the interaction that their tweets get, that they start wording their tweets like they know what will get the people going. Super ambiguous things like blank took, whatever. So Nick asked, is there a max exposure percent that you won't surpass even if you're all in on a player? Well, Nick, I think the question requires context. For contests like BBM4, I would go 100% on a player that I thought was mispriced, because I treat the contest as either you win or you lose, right? You should not play large field lotteries safe. And I can so Cousins is at what pick number are we at here? 138. Fuck it. Cousins, welcome down. We don't need it, but still an elite quarterback. And when you get quarterbacks you like at major ADP values where it's like, these are the guys left, he can definitely spread the ball around where it's like Jefferson, Hawkinson, Addison, running, like everyone catches a touchdown. He has a good game. No skill player does good enough. My skill players are more concentrated. So, and he's back stackable, maybe. But yeah, back to Nick's question. I can afford, and I think the correct way to play a contest like BBM4 is you have to be okay getting $0 back, right? So if I have 50% of a player, yeah, it's pretty frustrating if that player gets hurt. And you need to know yourself, right? Like, and your bankroll. If you are maxing BBM4, and that is a very significant money to you, which, it is, it's $3,000 plus. and you're like, no, I need to at least get like 2K back. Well, then, yeah, maybe you want to spread your exposures more, but that's not how you optimally play a 650,000 person contest. And so I think it just comes from like having a bit of a DFS background where it's like people understand when they play DFS that they're going to just lose some weeks, right? And people even like lock in a player sometimes in DFS, accepting that they are leaning into variance, right? Where, for high stakes stuff, maybe I don't want to have 100% of a player just because it's literally more money. Getting a phone call. Got to quiet that. Could have had a Bills and LAC alpha stack. I do. And no, yeah, I mean, I guess I could have gotten Josh Allen here, but I can't get Keenan, Mike Herbert if I take Josh, dude. So yeah, for content, like people are shocked at like me having high exposures in BBM4. Newsflash: I'm trying to win $3 million, not return, 105% ROI. And of course, when it's stated like, and I firmly believe in BBM4, you just need to be okay losing some years, right? Like, of course, when I explain it, like, would you rather every single year advance 50 out of 150 teams, and each year you make $1,000? Or would you rather lose 5 years in a row and then 1 year you win first for $4 million? I don't know. Probably the $4 million one, right? So I think people have a twisted way of thinking about tournaments sometimes. They just don't understand how hard it is to win, what levers to pull to try to do that. And if you're not a player take person, that's okay. Okay, so we're coming up at pick 151. I really view Schultz, Higbee, and Everett similarly. Really struggled with that word. Would usually grab Schultz, but we're grabbing Everett. We're all in on Chargers Nation on this one, except for Quentin Johnston. KJ Osborne, man, I think KJ Osborne is just like way overpriced. I did like the talent. I don't like that he's probably the pass catcher 4 on the Vikings. Now, if an injury occurs, okay, he's got better return. But it's like, to me, he's pretty clearly behind Hawk, Jefferson, Addison. KJ Osborne, wide receiver 4, pass catcher 4. Like, we're not taking pass catcher 4s on any other teams this high in the market. So I do take him sometimes to stack with Kirk, but the risk of not getting Everett wasn't worth it to me. First or last, you got chips. What's my thoughts on the Texans wide receiver depth chart? I have the most of John Mechie. I don't draft Robert Woods, although I do recognize there are seasons where he just plays and starts the whole year. And I will start mixing him in if he's just like running with the ones every day. I take some Tank Dell. Other than that, pretty much a stay away. It's like the chalk lead is probably Woods. And Nico. So Nico is a guy who, again, I have a lot of Nico when he was in the 150s. I have all the Nico. I'm not taking Nico Collins now that he has climbed to a 10th round pick. I think it's close between a couple of these players, but the week 5 bye is not great, but whatever, we're doing it. Grabbing DPJ. If it's kind of my way of betting on Deshaun without drafting Deshaun, where it's like if he can pass deep, he's a similar bet to MVS and some other guys. Plays well in a half-point BR site. GTO Pius. I'll start updating the audio once I get my site launched. Maybe I'll take a feather from Pat's book and make that a premium feature. I considered Taysom there as my tight end 3. You guys know I like a lot of Taysom, and that's a fun tight end room. So the naked Kirk Cousins is not something I do a lot, but, you know, he got taken after Russell Wilson in this draft, Jared Goff. And if you do a volume of teams, it does make sense to scoop value. Like, unfortunately for this team, I'm probably just riding with 4 running backs. Modified hyperfragile, if you would. Where I got like 2 anchors and then 2 mid-round guys. Otherwise, I could add a Ty Chandler or someone to the mix. What are the plaques in the background? These are when I was a chess coach. So one was at Nationals. My kindergarten to 3rd place team got 2nd place. In 2019. And then the year before, we got 3rd place in a section. So I don't know. I think that's one of the few things I have there. Chess Nationals is a great thing. Can't wait to have a kid of my own and we're ripping up the chess circuit. I mean, the Broncos do play the Chargers, but again, that's like I don't know how to play the Broncos, so I've often just not. Like Tim Patrick, Marvin Mims, Judy, Sutton. Those are 4 wide receivers. Maybe one gets traded. Maybe one gets cut. I don't know. I've been a big Tim Patrick guy historically, but I want more clarity. Jaden Reed to me is at least the 3rd, but could push for the 2nd. So, and I have some optimism on Jordan Love. What's your favorite opening as black? I like the Scandinavian. I like the Icelandic variation, though. Finn asks, what content are you going to do when the season starts? Are you going to go on to weekly DFS? I'm definitely going to like write up, I think, the games on my site. And then I'm looking for a co-host. I've reached out to some people. I want to have a show every Tuesday dedicated to Best Ball Mania 4. As long as Underdog has their leaderboard going, it's going to be basically me and my host showing our highest scoring teams. Maybe having, if like anyone in the community is on the top of the leaderboard, we can have them on. Something best ball centric on Tuesdays, though. And then determine. So nothing set in stone, but I got some ideas. So we have a 2-4-7-2. 3 more picks here. We're going to grab a share of Justin Ross. I have not understood why people hated him to start the year. I always thought there was a possibility what we're seeing is happening. I still think it's plausible he's cut or he's like the wide receiver 5, but I want to have some shares in case he's the wide receiver 1, right? It's like, look, is it going to be that surprising if he beats out Sky Moore? No. Is underdog the same as DraftKings where you can't adjust your team? Yeah, Finn, best ball is set and done. You cannot do waivers and stuff. How you guys feeling about the Chiefs wide receivers? Richie James, I like him on PPR. He's probably a safer bet to score more points than Ross in the median, but in the ceiling outcomes, that's probably Ross. Juwan Johnson is a guy I would draft a lot of if the Saints did not also add Foster Moreau and Jimmy Graham. Like, that can't be a good sign for Juwan. Cody saying MVS not being talked enough about. All the other wide receivers are the same. I would say MVS and Ross are actually similar body types. I don't think Ross is that fast. Yeah, I think James is a guy I draft too. If he came back, I would have probably drafted both. Some people don't like the scrolling I do up and down. Sometimes that's for me to like see what other teams are doing. So tough. Kyler goes way late this draft. Man, I don't know, but we'll just take the tight end and the best offense. I still think it's like the Luke Schumacher, who was drafted in the second round for the Cowboys, has a foot injury and hasn't practiced yet. So I still think it's totally possible that he returns and like pushes Ferguson down the depth chart, but maybe not. And so I want some Ferguson if not. Oh, I could do this. The second monitor for the draft. I mean, I just have like a huge monitor. I don't need a second monitor. So we have a 2-4-8-3. I really think this last pick could be running back or wide receiver. Because at wideout, it's like most weeks I'm hoping for Keenan, Mike, and then one of Davis, OBJ, DPJ, Reed Ross. Yeah, I'm going to go wide out. I was considering Chandler just to get that little bit of mini with Kirk. But too many question marks at wide receiver where it's like, don't know, won't have J-Mo to start the year. Don't know if Ross is even contributing. OBJ. So we need a wideout. And today we'll grab some Matt Collins. Matt Collins looking like an absolute Chad. I believe his quote was like, I don't like soft people. I don't like people who eat with utensils. That's for soft people. I eat with my hands. Something crazy like that. So I think the last round wide receivers, there's like a bunch of names in consideration, but we're going with a guy who presumably is the wide receiver 2 in Atlanta. This will tilt the faces off of the London and Pitts drafters if he's getting the touchdowns. If my rookies are slow, he's not a rookie, If Ritter improves as a passer, he could actually be like a great pick. So, all right. So that closes down our team. We got the Chargers alpha stack with Eckler, Keenan, Big Mike, and Herbert. Running back room, modified, hyper fragile, where we got Eckler and Pollard holding it down, and then Cooks and Connor allowing us to stop at 4 RBs who are their team's RB1s. Wide receiver, we got Keenan and Big Mike to go with Herbert. We got Gabe Davis, wide receiver 2, who could suffer a little bit of lower volume this year, but still presumably will have 6 to 7 touchdowns, some deep bombs. Jameson Williams, spike week guy when he returns. OBJ, could be the 2 in that offense. Could be the 1. Who knows? Could be that good. We'll see. DPJ, probably he's in the mix for the wide receiver 2 between him and Elijah Moore. Deep target guy, good for half-point PPR. Jaden Reed, hopefully he becomes the 2. Justin Ross, hopefully he contributes. Matt Collins, a cheap wide receiver 2. Kincaid, a swing upside at tight end. Everett, a swing upside at tight end and correlates. Ferguson, a swing upside at tight end. And also adds into that Pollard and J-Mo stack for week 17. And then Kirk, just out here. Any week that Herbert's not producing weeks, Kirk's giving me those games, So, all right, guys. That is the team for today. Let me name it. That was 93, 731. On your phone, you can add emojis, so I would add the bolt up, but I can't do that, so we'll just say this. And then we did a 2493. So back-to-back 2493s. All right, guys, that's what I got for right now. Join the Discord in the link below. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you rode out this whole stream with me, when I end the stream, refresh it, drop any comment for the algo below. Literally can just smash your keyboard. I don't mind. Appreciate all interaction on the channel. Let me know what you think about the team. And have a great day, guys. We'll be back tomorrow.